What happens when the finale of a brand new reality series arrives? But one huge question remains unanswered. Is this really the end of Little Singles, or is it only the beginning? Tonight's finale brings Season 1 to its biggest moment, with relationships, friendships, unresolved feelings, and unanswered questions all coming together. But while viewers are focused on what happens in the final episode, there's another question already taking over the conversation. Will Little Singles return for Season 2? And if the show does come back, when could viewers realistically expect to see it? Would a second season arrive quickly, while the audience is still talking about Season 1? Or could fans potentially be waiting much longer before the cast returns to the screen? That question is especially interesting, because Little Singles is still a relatively new series. A first season can help a network determine whether a show has connected with its audience, whether viewers are invested in the cast, and whether there is enough interest to justify bringing the series back. The Season 1 finale could therefore be more than simply the conclusion of the current story. It could also give viewers clues about where the series might go next, which relationships remain unresolved, which personalities could have more of their stories explored, and could the finale leave enough questions unanswered to create a natural path into another season? In this video, we'll take a closer look at what the Season 1 finale could mean for the future of Little Singles, the signs that could support a renewal, what factors could potentially stand in the way, and what a realistic Season 2 timeline might look like if the series is renewed. Most importantly, we'll separate what is actually known from what is simply speculation, because until an official renewal is announced, no potential Season 2 date should be treated as confirmed. So, with the Season 1 finale arriving tonight, let's take a closer look at the biggest question facing Little Singles. Is this goodbye, or just the beginning of another chapter? The finale is more than simply the ending of Little Singles Season 1. In reality television, a finale can also become a turning point. It gives viewers a final look at the relationships, friendships, conflicts, and personalities they have followed throughout the season, and it can determine whether audiences feel satisfied or are left wanting more. Throughout Season 1, viewers have watched the cast navigate dating, attraction, friendship, jealousy, awkward encounters, disagreements, and emotional conversations. Those experiences have created connections that may not necessarily disappear when the final episode ends. That is what makes the finale so important. Some storylines may reach a natural conclusion, while others could remain unresolved. A relationship that seemed promising might suddenly change direction. A friendship could become stronger or more complicated. And feelings that were never fully addressed could potentially become the foundation for future episodes. But there is an important distinction to make. An unresolved storyline does not mean Season 2 has been confirmed. Reality television often leaves viewers with unanswered questions because real relationships rarely fit neatly into a beginning, middle, and ending. The finale can therefore create anticipation without necessarily indicating that producers have already decided to continue the series. The bigger question is whether Little Singles has created enough interest in its cast and its world for viewers to want another chapter. If audiences finish Season 1 still wondering what happens next for certain cast members, that can be valuable from a television perspective. It means the show may have created personalities viewers want to continue following. And ultimately, that may be one of the most important questions surrounding a potential second season. Did Season 1 give viewers enough of an ending, or did it give them enough questions to keep coming back? Now we come to the question viewers are probably asking most. Has Little Singles officially been renewed for Season 2? This is where it is extremely important to separate confirmed information from speculation. Unless the network or production team has made an official renewal announcement, viewers should not treat social media posts, cast comments, vague hints, fan theories, or online rumors as confirmation that Season 2 is happening. Reality television can generate a tremendous amount of speculation after a season ends. Fans naturally begin looking for clues. They may analyze interviews, social media activity, photos, comments, or appearances by cast members. But none of those things automatically means a new season has been ordered. A genuine renewal would normally require an official announcement from the network, production company, or another authoritative source. So if no official Season 2 announcement has been made, the most accurate position is simply that the future of the series remains unconfirmed. That does not necessarily mean the show has been canceled. It also does not mean a renewal is impossible. It simply means viewers should wait for verified information before treating Season 2 as a certainty. Behind the scenes, a network would likely consider several factors when deciding whether a reality series deserves another season. One of the biggest is audience interest and viewership. Networks want to know whether enough people are watching to justify continuing the program. Streaming and on-demand performance can also matter. Modern television audiences do not always watch an episode at its original broadcast time, so the broader performance of a series can be more complicated than a single ratings number. Then there is social media engagement. If viewers are actively discussing the cast, sharing clips, debating relationships, and following the show's personalities, that can demonstrate that the series has created an audience beyond the episodes themselves. The strength of the cast is another major consideration. Reality television depends heavily on personalities. If producers believe the cast has enough chemistry, individuality, and storytelling potential to sustain another season, that can make Renewal more appealing. Production costs also matter. A network has to consider whether the audience and potential revenue justify the expense of producing another season. And finally, there is the question of whether the format itself can continue successfully. A successful first season does not automatically guarantee a second season. But if Little Singles has developed a recognizable cast, an engaged audience, and a format that can generate new stories, there may be a strong argument for continuing it. For now, however, the key message for viewers is simple. Potential is not confirmation. Even without an official renewal announcement, there are several reasons why another season of Little Singles could make sense. The first is the cast itself. Reality dating shows often become successful because viewers develop attachments to specific personalities. Audiences may begin watching for the concept, but eventually, they return because they want to know what happens to particular people. Once viewers become invested in relationships, friendships, rivalries, and individual journeys, a second season has an advantage that the first season did not have. An established audience already knows the world of the show. That creates opportunities for producers. Some Season 1 relationships could continue developing. Others could end completely. Certain cast members might return with a different perspective after everything they experienced during the first season. There is also the possibility of introducing new singles. New cast members could immediately change the dynamics of the group. Someone new entering the environment could create unexpected chemistry, new friendships, jealousy, competition, or completely different relationship possibilities. And that is where a potential Season 2 could become more than simply a repeat of Season 1. Producers could expand the format with new locations, new dating situations, new challenges, or different ways of bringing the cast together. They could also balance returning personalities with newcomers, giving longtime viewers familiar faces while introducing fresh storylines. Another possibility is that the second season could explore parts of the cast's lives that viewers only briefly saw during Season 1. But again, these are possibilities, not announcements. The fact that a show has room for more stories does not mean producers have officially decided to tell them. It simply demonstrates that Little Singles has a format capable of generating additional storylines. And perhaps that is the strongest argument for a potential Season 2. The story does not necessarily have to end simply because Season 1 does. Whether the network ultimately agrees with that idea will depend on the show's performance, audience response, production decisions, and the future plans of everyone involved. For now, fans can look at the Season 1 finale as both an ending and a question mark, and wait to see whether Little Singles gets the opportunity to begin another chapter. Even when a show has passionate fans, a renewal is never guaranteed. A successful first season can create excitement and strong viewer interest, but several factors can influence whether a network decides to order another season of a reality series. One of the biggest considerations is audience performance. Networks look closely at ratings, streaming numbers, viewer engagement, and whether audiences continue watching throughout the season. Production costs also matter. A show needs to make sense financially for the network and production company, even if viewers are enthusiastic about it. Scheduling can create another challenge. Reality television requires planning, casting, filming, editing, post-production, promotion, and a suitable place on the network's schedule. Even if the decision to renew comes relatively quickly, the actual production process can take considerably longer. Then there is the cast. Reality television can dramatically change personal relationships, and not every cast member may want to return for another season. Some people may feel that they have already told their story, while others may decide that they would rather move on. There is also a creative challenge. Season 2 would need to offer something new. If the first season established the show's formula, producers would need to find ways to raise the stakes without making the series feel repetitive. The goal would be to preserve what viewers enjoyed while giving them a reason to keep watching. So even if fans strongly want another season, the decision ultimately depends on much more than audience enthusiasm. If Little Singles does return, one of the biggest questions will be the cast. Would the entire original group come back? Could the second season combine familiar personalities with new faces? Or could producers decide to completely refresh the cast and introduce viewers to an entirely different group of singles? Each approach would have advantages. Bringing back familiar personalities would give existing viewers an immediate connection to Season 1. Audiences already understand their personalities, relationships, friendships, and conflicts. That continuity could make a second season feel like a natural continuation of the first. At the same time, new cast members could completely change the dynamic. New personalities mean new friendships, new attractions, new disagreements, and new possibilities. A combination of returning favorites and newcomers could potentially provide both familiarity and freshness. Another important factor would be unresolved Season 1 storylines. If certain relationships or personal journeys remain unfinished after the finale, viewers may naturally wonder whether those stories could continue. But there is an important distinction to make. Wondering who could return is not the same as knowing who will return. Unless the network or production team officially announces the Season 2 cast, every individual return should be treated as speculation rather than confirmation. If Season 2 is eventually confirmed, the next major question will be timing. A renewal announcement does not automatically mean that a new season is ready to premiere. Producers may need time for casting, negotiations, filming, editing, post-production, promotional campaigns, and network scheduling. That means there could be a substantial gap between confirmation and the premiere. One possible scenario would be late 2026. This would require production to move quickly, potentially with plans already underway before the official announcement. Another possibility would be early or mid-2027. If the network waits until after the Season 1 finale to make a renewal decision, this could provide producers with more time to organize casting and production. There is also the possibility of later in 2027 or beyond. If the network takes longer to decide, or if casting, filming, scheduling, or post-production requires additional time, the premiere could be pushed considerably further into the future. But these are only potential timelines. Until an official Season 2 premiere date is announced, viewers should not treat a specific month or year as confirmed. A rumored date, a social media post, or a prediction from an outside source is not the same thing as an official announcement. The period immediately following a finale can be filled with speculation. Fans may analyze interviews, social media activity, cast comments, and production rumors looking for clues about what comes next. But viewers should focus on verified information. Official network announcements are among the clearest signs that a renewal has actually happened. Production updates, verified cast interviews, and official promotional material can also provide useful information. However, even these clues need to be interpreted carefully. If a cast member says they are filming something, that does not automatically prove that a complete second season of Little Singles has been ordered. They could be working on another project, promotional content, or something unrelated to the series. Similarly, if a producer says they would like to continue the show, that expresses interest but does not necessarily mean production has officially begun. The safest approach is simple. Look for information that can be independently confirmed. That means separating what viewers hope will happen from what the network and production team have actually announced. If Little Singles returns, there are countless directions the series could take. Could Season 2 introduce a completely new group of singles? Could some of the original cast return alongside new participants? Could unresolved Season 1 relationships continue? Could producers change the setting or introduce a different format? These possibilities are part of what makes the idea of another season so interesting. A second season could potentially expand on the world established in Season 1 while introducing new personalities and new relationship dynamics. At the same time, producers would have to be careful not to lose the qualities that made the original season appealing. Ultimately, the strongest reason to be excited about another season may be the unpredictability of the format itself. Put people together, introduce attraction, friendship, competition, awkward conversations, emotional moments, and unexpected connections, and there is no guarantee of what will happen next. That uncertainty is one of the things that makes reality television compelling. So, after everything we've discussed, where does that leave us? The Season 1 finale may close the first chapter of Little Singles, but it does not necessarily answer the larger question of whether the series will continue. If there is no official renewal announcement at this point, that needs to remain clear. There may be plenty of reasons for fans to hope for another season, including audience interest, unfinished storylines, memorable personalities, and the potential for new relationship dynamics. But none of those things guarantees a renewal. The final decision belongs to the network and the production team, and several factors, including ratings, costs, scheduling, casting, and creative plans, can influence that decision. So for now, the most accurate answer is that Season 2 may be possible, but viewers should not treat it as confirmed until an official announcement arrives. Hope is one thing, confirmation is another. Tonight's finale may close the first chapter of Little Singles, but it does not necessarily mean the conversation is over. Whether the series returns for Season 2 will depend on the network, audience response, the cast, production considerations, and the future plans of the people behind the show. And if a renewal does happen, the next mystery will be just as exciting. Who returns? Who joins the cast? Which relationships continue? What changes? And how long will fans have to wait before they can see it all unfold? Until an official announcement arrives, the smartest thing viewers can do is enjoy the finale, pay attention to verified updates, and remember that speculation is not the same thing as confirmation. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.